Hello and welcome to the Pro Wrestling Personified Podcast. I'm your host, Louis Carlin, and we're part of the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. And this is the Impact Wrestling edition of the Pro Wrestling Personified Podcast. And I'm just gonna come out and say I'm pissed off right now. I'm a little pissed off right now. I'm gonna go into JP Sims again. In case you haven't been following, me and JP Sims got a little Twitter feud going. And I explained what happened 2 weeks ago, why we had a falling out, to why I think he's a piece of garbage, why I think he's an idiot now. He kind of screwed me. I got him some bookings. He didn't show up. He said that didn't happen and he was going to tell his side of the story. And that was like a week and a half ago and we haven't heard his side of the story. I'm curious. I'm curious to hear what lie he's going to come up with. He's probably sitting at home brainstorming, trying to come up with a feasible lie, to explain what exactly happened. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. It pisses me off. And you know what pisses me off more is you have, Nick at the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. He wants me to refrain from talking about JP Sims on the podcast. And I said I would try, but this is my podcast and I can do what I want basically, right? So I'm gonna talk about JP Sims and, Nick, I really hope you're not gonna edit this out, because I'll be a little upset if you edit this out. But JP Sims, the guy's an idiot. The guy is a dick. I'm gonna say it again. Myron was surprised. I call him. He's a dick, Myron. JP Sims is a dick. He knows what he did. He screwed me over, made me look really bad. I'm probably not gonna, I wanted to get into, maybe booking some wrestlers, but I think that's all thrown out the window now because JP Sims screwed me over. Not once, not twice, actually 4 times. Yeah, I got 4 bookings. He didn't show up to any of them. So I guess I've already looked bad and I got a bad name already. It's all because of that idiot JP Sims. And where's your story, JP? Where's your damn story? I'm sorry, but I'm getting fucking upset right now. And it's all coming out right now. I got the podcast, I got the microphone, so I'm gonna talk about it. I don't fucking care. Where's your damn story? We want to hear your damn lie. I want to hear your damn lie. You're supposed to, I'm surprised you haven't gone on Facebook Live already and said some stupid stuff and called me a bitch and wearing a dumb stupid hat and wearing your dumb sunglasses and with your stupid flask and drinking your fake tequila. I'm surprised we haven't seen that yet. Yeah, you idiot. What makes me a little more upset, and don't take this the wrong way, RJ. Don't take this the wrong way. But I was just talking to RJ from the Ringside Rant, and Kobe Christ is in a match and 3 mystery opponents, and I'm getting ready to. I was packing stuff to move, and I'm moving to Windsor. Everybody knows that. And he's like, "Oh, did you see the 3 mystery opponents?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't." And I'm all excited because I know there's Kobe Christ is defending against 3 mystery opponents. And one of them was JP Sims, and nothing against you, RJ, but I was having a good day, and then I see that dickhead in the ring, and I'm surprised he actually showed up. I'm surprised he actually fucking showed up to the show, after being booked, cause being booked, sometimes he doesn't show, and I know that from experience. But I'm surprised he showed up, and seeing him in the ring, he looked, it must have been the UCW. They probably had 2 guys. They probably couldn't find a 3rd guy. And, I know Marcus Burke was probably booked already, and they had other, Marco Estrada is already booked, so they didn't have anybody else. They probably gave JP Sims a call. He probably found out about it like a half hour ago. He had to rush down, and he looked like a schmuck anyway, and thankfully he lost. But again, nothing against you, RJ, from the Ringside Rant. But it just made me upset seeing him in the ring doing his thing. It just, I can't stomach looking at him, man. He just gets me so fucking angry. I'm sorry. And again, Nick, don't, I know this is the Impact Wrestling podcast, and I know I got to get into Impact Wrestling soon, but I wanted to talk about this. This was really inside. I had to let it out, and I'm letting it out. And Nick, don't you edit this? Don't you edit this? This better air as is, Nick. That's all I got to say. Is this better air as is? and to JP Sims. JP Sims is probably not going to listen because he's not going to listen to my podcast, but I'll tweet this out and I'm sure he'll see it. We want to hear your damn story. I'm curious. I'm really curious to hear your damn lie. Okay, I'm curious to hear your damn lie, JP. So come on, why don't you just have enough fucking guts and come out and tell us the fucking lie that you're trying to, the feasible lie that you're trying to come up with. But anyway, that's it. I'm done. No more JP Sims. I apologize to anyone listening. But the cursing, it's a situation that's really got me really, really angry. And I don't get angry easily. It's very, very hard to get me angry. But this dickhead has really pushed the wrong buttons. He's really made my blood boil. And I know I must sound like a geek by saying he pushed the wrong buttons, but he has, and it's kind of brought out the worst in me. And, JP Sims is a dick. That's all I gotta say. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on to, the Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling this week. I was looking for some news. Not much really going on in the news, for Impact Wrestling. I was looking for some news to talk about, but maybe some rumored signings or something, but I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find any news. So we're not gonna talk about any Impact Wrestling news. But I did watch Zero Fear. So I'll do a little rundown on Zero Fear in addition to the show that was last Thursday. And it was a decent show. I really enjoyed it. And I watched it in a hotel room, and I realized I didn't have my notebook with me. So I don't know if you ever stayed at a hotel. I was at the Comfort Inn, and they have these little tiny pads with these little tiny pieces of paper. And so that's where I wrote my notes on. So I got these little tiny, it's like a 2-inch by 4-inch piece of paper. And I wrote my notes on there, and you can only write so much on there. So that's where I wrote my notes, and I couldn't take any notes for Zero Fear, so it's all gonna be, the notes are all in my head for Zero Fear, so I'll run down Zero Fear, after I talk about the show that, took place this week. And, we have new tag team champions. That's big. New tag team champions. Santana and Ortiz regained the titles from DJ Z and Andrew Everett, the team of Z and E. And good gosh, this was one hell of a freaking outstanding match. I absolutely loved this match. From start to finish, it had terrific action, some great spots. Both teams have such terrific chemistry together. I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved this match. From start to finish. Santana and Ortiz, one of the best tag teams in the world today, in my opinion. And I tweeted that out. And a few people, they kind of disagreed with me. I tweeted this out some time ago. It wasn't recently, but I know a few people had disagreed with me. But I'm going to say it on right here. They're one of the best tag teams in the world, and they proved it in this match. And Z and E, DJ Z, Andrew Everett, another absolutely fantastic tag team. You know, I'm actually a little disappointed that their title run has ended, because they were so good in this match. You know, I'm watching them and I'm thinking, wow, these guys actually do deserve to be Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champions. I kind of wish they held on to the belt, and we had a little program with LAX chasing Z and E for the titles. But on the flip side of that, I hope we get a program now with Z and E chasing Santana and Ortiz for the Impact Tag Team titles. So it's actually, even though they lost the titles, it's really a win-win situation for the fans, because if they do have this program, which I'm hoping they have, I want to see more and more and more and more DJZ, Andrew Everett versus Santana and Ortiz tag team matches. It was just absolutely fantastic. if you haven't seen the match, you gotta see this match. And, I'm surprised it was the opening match and not the main event, because it was for the Impact Wrestling Tag Team Championship. It should have been the main event. My opinion, it was the best match on the show, and it should have been the main event. But, what a way to kick off Impact Wrestling. Just outstanding. Just outstanding. And I said it earlier, but I'm going to say it again because I'm very proud of it. One of my favorite tag teams, Santana and Ortiz, are the new Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champions. Terrific match. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. What I didn't absolutely love, though, was the KM and Fallah Bahh segment. KM came out, and he says that Impact now is KM Pact. He says he's the star of the show, basically. He calls out Fallah Bahh, and Fallah Bahh came out, and I thought we're gonna get Fallah Bahh against KM, and I wouldn't mind seeing that. And they've met before, they had decent matches in the past. And I thought we were getting Fallah Bahh against KM. I actually wrote down on my little note here, match 2, KM versus Fallah Bahh, cause that's what I thought we were getting. But Fallah Bahh comes out and he hands KM this note that Fallah Bahh wrote, and I don't remember it word for word, but basically Bahh said that it's not going to be him, it's going to be the standby wrestler coming out. Does KM accept? Yes or no? No. KM thinking it's Richard Justice. He says, oh, it's the standby wrestler Richard Justice. When he says that, immediately that it's not going to be Richard Justice, I automatically instantly thought that, oh, maybe it's Abyss. Maybe Abyss is going to come back and going to get a little redemption after losing to Congo Kong in that, was it a Monsters Ball match? I think it was a Monsters Ball match. I think it was. But anyway, the loss to Congo Kong, and I thought we were going to get Abyss was going to come out, and get, he's gonna come out and defeat, KM. But, I was wrong. It wasn't, Abyss. It was Scott Steiner. So Scott Steiner, came out. And, Scott Steiner, took on KM, and Scott Steiner defeated KM, and I didn't think the match was that good. Scott Steiner could only do so much. And another thing I didn't like is, why couldn't it just be Fallah Bahh? I mean, Fallah Bahh's got the issue with KM, right? So why is Fallah Bahh have to enlist Scott Steiner to come out and fight his battle? It kinda, in my opinion, makes Fallah Bahh look a little bad. Makes him look like, oh, maybe he's a little bit of a coward. He doesn't want to face KM. So he goes out and he gets 50 plus Scott Steiner to come out, and maybe it was to teach the bully a lesson, but why does he have to do that? Why can't Fallah Bahh is one of the most over guys right now in Impact Wrestling. They found he was I guess you could say a lump of coal, and he's turned into a diamond for Impact Wrestling. And why couldn't we just have Fallah Bahh come out and get revenge for what happened last week with KM? And I didn't like it. I don't like the segment at all. I didn't like Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner from 20 years ago was a killer, but now he puts on the Steiner recliner. It doesn't even look like it hurts. It doesn't even look like it hurts anymore, right? He just puts it on, and it's just, I don't know, I didn't like it. I didn't like the segment. It should have been Fallah Bahh against KM, hands down. And even if we get Fallah Bahh against KM at Slammiversary, it's kind of lost, its appeal, because Scott Steiner already came down and taught KM a lesson. So it lost its appeal for me. I didn't like it. And let's just move on to the next, let's move on to something else. We had a little, promo, actually prior to this match, we had a little promo from Jimmy Jacobs and Congo Kong. They cut a promo on Brian Cage, so it looks like we'll get Slammiversary, we're gonna get, Brian Cage against Congo Kong, which should be a very interesting match. I want to see if Brian Cage can get Congo Kong up and hit him with a drill claw. That's really the only reason why I want to see the match. If he could do that, that would be so damn impressive, if he could get Congo Kong up and hit him with the drill claw. And then from there, we had, looking at my little tiny notes here. Give me 1 second. Impact Wrestling's gonna be on Mexico TV now. They cut a deal. I forget the channel. I know they announced it. I didn't write the channel down because I don't have that much paper to write on, this week, but, they're gonna be on Mexico TV, and that's always good. And, they get the AAA stars on there and the Lucha Underground stars, so it's a good thing. They're gonna be on Mexico TV, so they're really expanding. They're going worldwide. I don't know if they still have the working agreement with Noah. I was reading today that it's rumored that WWE might have a temporary agreement with Noah. So I don't know if Impact is still has an agreement with Noah in Japan. I don't think they are. I think they're trying to get something with New Japan. And I think Don Callis, who of course we know is the announcer, the English commentary announcer for New Japan, and with Tajiri, it's not ECW, I'm sorry, Taji Ishimori, who I had a little 1988 wasn't it? No, 1998 flashback, sorry, with ECW. But Tashi Ishimori, he's going to be the Bone Soldier apparently when he comes to Slammiversary. So New Japan talent there. So I think they're trying to work something out, and I think they'll be successful in working something out with New Japan Pro Wrestling and Ring of Honor. So that's going to be interesting. I think we're going to see a three-way dance there between all three promotions. So then from there we had OVE video. They did a little, before that, Eddie Edwards, according to Josh Matthews, Eddie Edwards went home to quote unquote find himself. So we see Eddie Edwards coming in his car, and he drives in, and the first thing that we see is he runs into his garbage cans. And I'm thinking, why is he doing that? Why is he driving into his garbage cans? What is that showing? That he's completely flipped his lid? Or, I mean, drove right into his garbage cans and, knocked the garbage cans down. I thought that was a little strange. Even if you go up the deep ends but you go home, you have a little respect for your house. You're not gonna drive into your garbage cans. I personally wouldn't. I don't know about anybody else, but I just thought that was a little strange. A little strange. Eddie Edwards coming home and to find himself, and he drives right into the garbage cans, right into his garbage. Anyway, I thought it was strange, but he goes into the house. First of all, he can't get into the house because apparently the locks have been changed, and so he has to break the door down to get inside, and he's looking for his wife Alicia. She's not there, and he's going nuts looking for his wife, just running all over the house, screaming, Alicia, where are you? Alicia, where are you? Then he sees himself in the mirror, and then we see an image of Sami Callihan, and he goes thumbs down. So Sami Callihan goes thumbs down. Eddie Edwards smashes the mirror, and he just goes absolutely berserk, saying it's all your fault, referring to, I'm assuming Sami Callihan and not Tommy Dreamer, so, cause we saw Callihan, unless I missed something, but he's referring to Callihan, it's all your fault, and he's just going crazy, and, I know this segment was a little, I don't know, he's supposed to go home to find himself, but I don't know if he went home to find himself, or he went home to absolutely, lose his freaking mind. It was weird segment. I don't know. I don't know. It's like you got Eddie Edwards. He's like, it's saying Callihan, it's all your fault, but they're going into a Callihan Pentagon feud right now. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. It was just and who knows where Alicia went? Maybe. Oh, wait a minute. I'm just thinking Alicia, Tommy Dreamer. I have a feeling next week Eddie Edwards is gonna show up at Tommy Dreamer's house, and Alicia's gonna be there, and then Eddie Edwards is gonna absolutely go berserk and just beat the living hell out of Tommy Dreamer. That's what I think's gonna happen. Next week. That makes sense then. He's just gonna go to Tommy Dreamer's house, and Alicia's gonna be there. I'm calling it right now. So then, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens next week. Then right after that, after Eddie Edwards is saying Sami Callihan, it's all your fault, we get an OVE video, not on Eddie Edwards, but on Pentagon Jr. and Phantasma. So they cut a video, and Sami Callihan, his eye was, this time it was his left eye that was all screwed up. Last week it was his right eye, but this week it was his left eye, and I touched upon that last week, but they got the right eye this time, so the right eye is the left eye, so the left eye was all screwed up. So they cut a video promo on Pentagon Jr. and Phantasma, which was pretty cool. I enjoy the OVE videos with Sami Callihan, of course, and Jake and Dave Christ. Great. It's thank goodness Sami Callihan. I know it happened a long time ago, but thank goodness Sami Callihan came to Impact Wrestling and is part of OVE, because Jake and Dave Christ, they weren't getting over on their own, but now with Sami Callihan, since he came aboard, it's just, they're the hottest thing in Impact Wrestling, my opinion right now. And so then we had our third match of the evening, which was Taya Valkyrie taking on Madison Rayne, and this was a good match. It was a good match. Madison Rayne is going to go over because they're pushing Madison Rayne. She recently had the big victory over Tessa Blanchard, and now against Taya Valkyrie. And it was a good match. And like I said, Madison Rayne getting the push, and she won the match. And she cut an in-ring promo. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at these little tiny notes I have here. She cut an in-ring promo after the match, after she defeated Taya Valkyrie, and she said that she is now going to Slammiversary, and she will be meeting Su Yung for the Knockouts title at Slammiversary. And after she said that, then kind of I think the lights flickered, and then we heard Su Young's evil laugh. And I thought Su Yung was going to come out, because she was actually watching from the rafters, watching the Valkyrie Rayne match from the rafters. And I thought she was going to come out and she was going to attack Madison Rayne, but she just kind of laughed and giggled, kind of playing mind games with Madison Rayne. So I'm looking forward to it. I personally, I think it's going to be just, a legendary knockout being fed to Su Yung to give her a big win. And I would like to see Taya Valkyrie and Tessa Blanchard in the Knockouts title picture. In addition, of course, Kiera Hogan. I would love to see her. So just give Madison Rayne her little moment here. She deserves it. She's going to Slammiversary. I think she's going to lose. I don't think she's going to get the title. And then I say move on to, I want to see Tessa Blanchard one-on-one with Taya Valkyrie. I think that would be a tremendous, tremendous match. And I'm hoping it happens. I'm hoping it happens at Slammiversary. It could happen at Slammiversary, and make it a three-way dance between Tessa Blanchard, Kiera Hogan, and Taya Valkyrie, and the winner is the number one contender for the Knockouts title. Do it. Book it. Don Callis, Scott D'Amore, book it. Book it at Slammiversary. Because we all know Tessa Blanchard is going to eventually be the Knockouts title. I don't know if she's actually, last I heard on the teleconference, she mentioned that she wasn't signed to Impact Wrestling, so hopefully she's going to sign a long-term deal with Impact Wrestling. And I'm also, speaking of that, I'm checking to see if Eli Drake is coming back. His contract is expiring July 31st. And I keep checking. I keep going on BQ's page because I know he gets all the news first, and I'm checking his page to see if I should say he gets all the news. He finds all the news first, and keep checking. I'm hoping that Eli Drake decides to come back to Impact Wrestling. And then when we get LAX in the clubhouse, and they're celebrating. They're the new tag team champions, and Konnan returns. Konnan returns to the clubhouse, and he tells King that they need to have a talk. They have a talk. Konnan thinks King has something to do with him being jumped or his attack. And they're not seeing eye to eye, and there's gonna be a little feud there between the two. It was a really good, intense segment. Konnan is so damn good. Konnan is just excellent. He's a great talker. It was good to see him back, and it's interesting to see how this is gonna play out. And I was reading online. Somebody actually had a thought on what they think might happen. I think it's a good one. It's not my prediction, but somebody, I think it was on Facebook or Twitter, made a little prediction that Homicide is part of Konnan being attacked. and he's going to align himself with King, and he's going to bring Hernandez back, and we're going to see Hernandez and Homicide, the original LAX, battling the new LAX, Santana and Ortiz. King, of course, being with Homicide and Hernandez, and Konnan being with Santana and Ortiz, of course, Diamante being with them as well. So that's something that's a possibility. That's a possibility. That would be very intriguing as well. See, and that could happen at Slammiversary, right? New LAX versus old LAX. Could happen at Slammiversary. Who knows? We'll see. Of course, it's not my prediction. I don't know if it's going to happen. It's somebody, it was somebody who just had a thought on Facebook and they posted that and it sounded good to me. So I just thought I'd bring it up here and who knows? Might happen. Might happen. Okay, so what happened from there? After Konnan, my notes, good thing I wrote numbers on these. So, and then after that, we get a absolutely tremendous video promo package for the newest member of the Impact roster, Killer Kross. I thought this was fantastic. I think Killer Kross, he cut an absolutely fantastic promo. I'm a Killer Kross fan now. I loved it. I want to see him in the ring. I want to see more Killer Kross. It's just, his promo was just so intense. It was intense. It was, very, I just loved it, man. I'm at a loss for words, man. I loved the promo. I was wrong, of course. Originally I thought it was going to be Kill Shot, but I'm glad it's Killer Kross because he could cut a damn good promo, and I know he could be damn good in the ring. I was watching some of his matches on YouTube, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in the ring. I wonder who his opponent's going to be at Slammiversary. I'm thinking it's probably going to be Petey Williams and maybe Sanjay Dutt to start. Petey Williams maybe wanting to get some revenge, but great signing. I can't wait to see more of Killer Kross. I hope we see more of him next week. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely love Killer Kross. And we find out that next week, and of course next week the tapings are going to be from, the first set of taping. It's going to be the first show from the tapings in Windsor, Ontario. The Desi Hit Squad, Gama Singh, Rohit Raju, and Gursinger Singh, will, finally making their Impact Zone appearance, even though it's not really at the Impact Zone, it's in Windsor, but their first Impact, TV appearance together. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, they've been on, the first prime time, I guess you say the first prime time Impact Wrestling TV appearance. I think that's fair enough to say that. But I'm looking forward to it. A huge fan of, Gursinger Singh. Had him on the show, not too long ago. When he was, he was Tony Cage. Had him when he was Tony Cage. It was Gursinger Singh now. Rohit Raju, Gama Singh will be there. I'm looking forward. I'm predicting they're going to be future tag team champions. I can see them feuding with LAX down the road. Even them against, Z&E would be a great match. So they're getting the tag teams now. The tag team division is now starting to look, decent now in Impact Wrestling. It's starting to look decent now in Impact Wrestling, and it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better, in my opinion. Then after that, we had the Global Wrestling Network moment of the week. It was Sanjay Dutt defeating Low Ki for the X Division title in India. Fast forward to that. I was watching on the Global Wrestling Network, so I fast forwarded to the next match. I know that match was decent. The crowd popped hard. It was a good crowd, but it just goes too long. And I don't want to sound like a broken record each and every week, but it's 8-9 minutes of something they could have given us a Kiera Hogan match or something. But anyway, so I fast forward through that, and we had our fourth match, which was Dave and Jake Christ with Sami Callihan taking on Pentagon Jr. and El Hijo de Fantasma, and not Dave, Del Fantasma. What was it, Dave? Oh, it's Del Fantasma. Fantasma. So, and that was the main event. The main event, of course, like I said earlier, should have been LAX versus Z&E for the Impact Wrestling Tag Team titles. But this was a really good main event. I really enjoyed this main event. Pentagon Jr., fantastic wrestler, as is Fantasma, as are the Chris brothers. So it was a really, really good match. Absolutely enjoyed this main event. And Pentagon Jr. and Phantasma do win the match. They do win the match. But Sami Callihan does interfere, and they lay a beat down on Pentagon Jr. They actually tried to rip his mask off. And I was waiting for Eddie Edwards to come out. I was wondering where Eddie Edwards was. How come Eddie Edwards just suddenly he doesn't care? He's not interested in getting Sami Callihan. And it's just I don't understand it. Earlier he was saying it's all your fault. It's all your fault. We saw Sami Callihan in the mirror pointing to going thumbs down to Eddie Edwards, and Eddie Edwards going nuts, but now it's Sami Callihan and Pentagon Jr. That's the feud. It's just, I don't know, it's just strange. I just was waiting for Eddie Edwards to come out again. But he didn't come out, and Phantasma came out, made the save, and they didn't get his mask off, Pentagon Jr.'s mask off. But it was a great main event. Absolutely great main event. I'm so glad it's Pentagon Jr. and not Alberto El Patron. I don't even know what he's doing these days, but I much rather see Pentagon Jr. In Impact Wrestling than Alberto El Patron. So I'm glad, not that I'm saying that, hey, Pentagon Jr. has taken his spot, but I just, if the whole thing with Alberto El Patron, we didn't show up to the Lucha Underground show, I don't think we'd be seeing Pentagon Jr. In Impact Wrestling right now. But maybe we might have. Maybe we would have, but I just think, well, you know what, I don't know. So that's well, we might have seen him, we might not. But I'm just thinking he's kind of got this spot because of Alberto El Patron. But another thing is Pentagon Jr. It seems like he has no interest in getting that title back from Austin Aries after Austin Aries low blowed him to win the match, to win the title off him a few weeks back. But I spoke about that last week. Don't need to go into it again. That was it. And we find out next week that Rich Swann will be on the show. So Rich Swann will be at Impact Wrestling. He was at the tapings in Windsor, and I'm looking forward to seeing Rich Swann. So you think about Impact Wrestling now. They got some, the Killer Kross coming in, Rich Swann now is in. It's, and I'm going on Facebook, and I look at the post now, and I see less and less negative comments and more positive comments when I check it. And I'm very pleased to see that. I'm very, very pleased to see that. You still got the occasional idiot who goes on and he when they announce a match and they'll throw in like a yawn or they'll say like TNA sucks. They don't know what they're talking about because TNA doesn't exist anymore. It's Impact Wrestling. But you get the occasional guy that'll do that but it's mostly positive now, and I'm very pleased. At least from what I've been seeing. It's been very positive. But that was Impact Wrestling. That was Impact Wrestling for this week, and why don't we just jump in now to Zero Fear? We go over that quickly. It was and then speaking of, I want to talk about the Zero Fear debuted on the Global Wrestling Network actually last week, June 15th. Finally got to see it. I was in a hotel. I was away for work all week, and work was over. Go to my hotel room, and I had 3 hours to spare, nothing to do, so I watched Zero Fear. Actually, I watched it over a few days. I didn't get to see the whole thing in one day, so I watched it over a few days. And Global Wrestling Network, they're really adding a lot of good content. Let me just pull it up here. Global Wrestling Network, it's not just Impact Wrestling, and they have, well, if you have the Global Wrestling Network, you know that. A lot of people think it's just Impact Wrestling, but it's not just Impact Wrestling. They have, I just want to pause this, so there we go. I just wanted to, explosion was about to start. I don't want, it's starting. Let me just pause it. There we go. I don't want you to hear explosion in the background while I'm talking. So a lot of people think that, the Global Wrestling Network is just Impact Wrestling, but it's not. They have a lot of really good indie stuff. They added Destiny Wrestling. They have Smash Wrestling. Let me just pull up the indie wrestling that they have. I think they just added Great White North Wrestling, or they added it a few weeks back. So they have Rise Wrestling now, and Rise, the women's wrestling organization. And let me just see, the Destiny, Smash, Great White North, as I mentioned. Let me pause. Okay. I just need to pause that again. Every time you go into something, another match starts and you have to pause it. I could watch it, but it would sound funny over me talking over a match. Border City Wrestling that they have now. Rocky Mountain Pro. I mentioned Rise, Wrestle Pro, Future Stars of Wrestling, AML Wrestling. They have Super Kicked from Toronto, WrestleCade. So they have a lot of stuff, and they have classic wrestling too. Classic wrestling from St. Louis. So they have a hell of a lot of content. All that I mentioned. And in addition, they have all the old TNA and Impact Wrestling pay-per-views and shows. So they have a hell of a lot of content now. So I'll tell you, it is worth the $7.99 that you have to pay. So I'm plugging the Global Wrestling Network right now. So it's a great website, a great app. I love it. I highly recommend it. They just need to fix that issue that they have when you're watching something on the computer and it pauses and it rolls back to the beginning. It does that a lot. It's still doing it. They need to fix that. But I made them aware of it. But other than that, the content is fantastic. I absolutely love it. And of course, you're getting all the one night only specials are exclusive to the Global Wrestling Network, and they're talking about getting the pay-per-views on there too. So we'll see. So we'll see what happens with the pay-per-views. It'll be great if they get the pay-per-view. If they were to, raise the price to like $11.99, $12.99 and to include the pay-per-views, I would spend the money to do that. I would spend the money to do that without a doubt. But anyway, so let's go into, Impact One Night Only Zero Fear, which took place in Mississauga at the Don Kozlov Arena. It was Destiny Wrestling, Impact Wrestling show. Basically it was Destiny Wrestling, which is the big promotion here in Toronto, presents Impact One Night Only Zero Fear. Opening match was Seidel against Desmond Xavier. I was excited about this match because I think Desmond Xavier is a great talent, and I think I think there should be a program between the two, and I was very excited to see the match, and I wasn't disappointed. I thought it was a really good match between the two. Good action, a good back and forth action. I didn't think Desmond was going to win, and I was right. Matt Seidel does retain the title, defeats Desmond Xavier, but it was a really, really good opening match. I think it could have even been better, cause I know these guys are really talented, but it was nonetheless, it was a really good opening match. I really enjoyed the opening match. Second match, Ace Austin against Mr. Atlantis. I don't know too much about these two. Let's just say Ace Austin, defeated Mr. Atlantis, pretty quickly. Match was okay. Nothing special. But it was a short match, and I don't know, maybe it was a tryout match for Impact Wrestling. I don't know. But regardless, Ace Austin defeats Mr. Atlantis. Then from there we had the Desi Hit Squad, Gursinger Singh and Rohit Raju with Gama Singh. It's the first time I saw these three together. Gama Singh comes out with Gursinger and Raju, and they took on Desmond Quicksilver and Aiden Prince. And this was a decent match. I liked it because I really wanted to see the Desi Hit Squad. I've been talking about them for a while. We've seen Rohit Raju on Impact Wrestling by himself, but now we got the unit together, and I know there's two more coming. I can't remember their names, but there are two more members of the Desi Hit Squad which will be coming. But I really enjoyed the match. I love the team of Gursinger Singh and Rohit Raju. I think they work well together. Their teamwork was solid. They win the match. They defeated naturally Quicksilver and Prince. I love them. I thought they great match, great chemistry together, and I want to see more of the Desi Hit Squad and with Gama Singh. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed seeing them finally together, and I'm looking forward to seeing them next week on Impact Wrestling. We're going to see them again. So, and I said it, I'm saying it again. I'm going to say it again. They're the next, no, not the next, but they're future Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champions. Great team there. Great teamwork by the two. And then we had Madison Rayne against Casey Spinelli. Very, very nice to see Casey Spinelli back. Wrestling for Impact Wrestling. I think she's very, very talented. I'm a little disappointed that didn't sign her and make her a knockout, sign her to a contract. But good to see her. And Madison Rayne, of course, gets the victory over Casey Spinelli. It was a good match. It was a solid match. Good action between the two. I really like Casey Spinelli. They should bring her aboard full time. Without a doubt, they should bring her aboard full time. 2 scoops, Casey Spinelli. She always works hard and she always has good matches. But on this occasion, Madison Rayne defeats Casey Spinelli. And from there, we had Fallah Bahh and Stone Rockwell against the Fraternity, Channing Decker and Trent Gibson. Now, Fallah Bahh and Stone Rockwell. This is a fun tag team. I know you had Fallah Bahh and you had KM, and they were a fun tag team, but they've split up. But Fallah Bahh and Stone Rockwell is Mr. Adventure. They're a fun tag team. I enjoyed watching them together. Just the opening promo, the opening shtick that they did, was funny. And, the match was funny. I like the Stone Rockwell. He was in the corner and, both of the opponents, Decker and Gibson are on all fours. And, he's in the opposite corner and Fallah Bahh needs the hot tag. To get to Fallah Bahh, Mr. Adventure has to run over Decker and Gibson, kind of like he's running over logs or he's running over alligators or something in the water to get to safety. Mr. Adventure runs over both of them and dives and tags Fallah Bahh. And Fallah Bahh comes in and they win the match. Fallah Bahh and Stone Rockwell defeat the Fraternity, and like I said, they're a fun tag team. I say bring them to Impact. Bring them to Impact Wrestling. They're a fun tag team. I want to see more of them. I want to see more of Fallah Bahh and Stone Rockwell, and that's all I got to say about that. I want to see more of Fallah Bahh and Stone Rockwell, and I hope we do. I hope we see more of that. I hope we see them next week. I hope we see them next week on Impact Wrestling, because I know they were filming in Windsor, and I know we've seen Stone Rockwell. Stone Rockwell has been on a couple of I think some Twitch TV clips or Twitter clips. He's doing some work for Impact Wrestling, so we might see more of Fallah Bahh and Stone Rockwell. But bottom line, they win the match. Fun match to watch. After that, we got Trevor Lee against Eddie Edwards. And I was expecting an absolutely tremendous match, with the loose cannon Eddie Edwards, and the ultra talented Trevor Lee, who Impact Wrestling hasn't been using to his fullest potential. I thought we were going to see a tremendous match, but it wasn't a tremendous match. Part of it was because, they added some comedy spots with potato chips and popcorn, and I don't know. You got Eddie Edwards who's threatening to murder Sami Callihan, who's smashing glass mirrors in his house, running over garbage cans, just totally snapping, and he's in this match doing a lighthearted comedy spot by hitting Trevor Lee with a bag of popcorn and a bag of chips, and Trevor Lee selling the popcorn hit, and the fans loved it. The fans were chanting popcorn. They want popcorn, and some guy came out with a bag of popcorn, and the crowd really popped, and Eddie Edwards, took it, like I said, and we did the lighthearted comedy bits. And the match itself was okay. So let's just leave it at that. Just say Eddie Edwards defeated Trevor Lee, and this match was a little bit of a disappointment in my opinion. Then we had Su Yung defending her title against Katarina. Match was okay. Why Katarina is getting a title shot against Su Yung, I don't know. She really hasn't had any matches since she's been in Impact Wrestling. I don't think. Maybe something on Explosion. But nonetheless, she gets title shots and, she loses. Su Yung does win, and the match was okay. Nothing special. But then, talking about special, we had Sami Callihan against Josh Alexander, the Walking Weapon. This was my favorite show of the entire card. I absolutely loved this match. It was great back and forth action. Hard hitting, terrific action. This felt like not a match, but it felt like a fight. And both guys really went at it. Why isn't Josh Alexander signed to an Impact Wrestling contract? This guy is tremendous. This was a great match between both Callihan and Alexander. I absolutely loved it. I write for Kayfabe Today, and this made my top 5 matches of the month for June. It was number 5, but it made the top 5. Great match. Absolutely loved it. Sami Callihan defeats Josh Alexander, but tremendous match. Absolutely tremendous match between the two. Just near falls. I'm trying to think of something to say. I'm just going to leave it at this. It was a tremendous match between Alexander and Callihan. Absolutely loved it. And then we had Austin Aries defending the Impact Wrestling title against the man making his real debut for Impact Wrestling, Rich Swann. And this was a really good back and forth match as well. I really like Rich Swann. I'm glad they got him in Impact Wrestling. This was a good match. One can say, why is Rich Swann, getting a title shot against Austin Aries? And you could say that I mentioned that about Katarina, but Katarina really hasn't defeated anybody, but Rich Swann is coming from the WWE and he's had a lot of success there. So him getting a shot, makes a little more sense than Katarina getting a shot, in my opinion. But nonetheless, maybe getting a shot right off the bat for Rich Swann, maybe they could have given a shot to somebody else. But, Austin Aries defeats Rich Swann, of course. Which, at first I thought maybe it didn't make sense, but, it does make sense actually, because you don't want to have a WWE guy coming in and defeating one of your wrestlers. Austin Aries, their champion, right away defeats the WWE guy coming in. So that's why Rich Swann took the loss, and that's why this match probably most likely happened, to give Austin Aries the win over the ex-WWE guy. But it was a good match nonetheless, and he looked really good, like I said, Rich Swann, and I'm looking forward to his debut next week. Well, not his debut. This was his debut, but looking forward to seeing him on Impact Wrestling next week. I wonder who his opponent's going to be. But I think he'll be great in the X division. Things are really shaping up for Impact Wrestling. Well, they've been shaping up for a while, but it's really starting to look absolutely dynamite now, and it's I've been a fan of Impact Wrestling for so long, and it's just an exciting time right now for Impact Wrestling, and a lot of people who have been Impact Wrestling haters and trolls, they're starting to realize that too. Case in point, as I mentioned earlier, less and less negative comments on Facebook and Twitter from what I've been seeing, but very exciting time for Impact Wrestling. But I'll say it again. Austin Aries defeats Rich Swann and retains the Impact Wrestling title in a very good, wasn't the main event, which is surprising. It should have been the main event, but it wasn't the main event. The main event was actually Eli Drake taking on Moose in a 3-way dance against Moose and Pentagon Jr. Now this match, I know last week we had Eli Drake against Moose to determine the number one contender in a half-assed match in which they showed clips of that took place in May for House of Hardcore. But this match right here should have been the match to determine the number one contender for the Impact title and the person that would meet to determine the person that would meet Austin Aries at Slammiversary. This should have been the number one contenders match in my opinion, because you had Pentagon Jr. It would have made so much more sense, because you got Pentagon Jr. involved. against Moose and Eli Drake. All three top stars. At least here you got Pentagon. You could have said Pentagon Jr. He's getting a shot at being the number one contender again, so he's involved. Without a doubt, this should have been the number one contenders match. But it wasn't. But it was a really good match. It was a really, really good match. I really enjoyed it. It was, again, great action. I love Eli Drake. I love Pentagon Jr. I love Moose, so I loved the match. So it was really good. All three really worked well together. They worked very hard. But I disagree with the ending, though. I disagree with the ending. Pentagon Jr. defeats, he wins the match. Pentagon Jr. Pins Eli Drake, so he defeats Drake and Moose. Moose, going into Slammiversary, should have had the momentum here, and they should have given the win to Moose. Moose should have pinned Eli Drake here, in my opinion, just so he could have some momentum going in. But on the flip side of that, Moose wins the title at Slammiversary. Pentagon Jr. can say, well, I won the three-way dance at Zero Fear. I want a shot at Moose. So there's pros and cons, for Moose winning, and, pros and cons for Pentagon, winning, which he did. So there you have it. That was Impact Wrestling One Night Only Zero Fear. And I'm gonna say it, I wanna say this, before we go and I said it earlier, Impact Wrestling, and I'm moving closer to the mic, please re-sign Eli Drake. Please, 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 please re-sign Eli Drake. Alright, there you have it. So that's it. That's it, for Impact Wrestling this week. I'll be back, of course, next week, to discuss more Impact Wrestling. So until then, I'm going to say thank you very much for joining me this week. My name is Lewis Carlin. It was great to be here again this week. And until next week, take care, bye-bye, and stay safe, everybody. So long, bye-bye.